Hi, so I want to do a video today on changing other people. Now, I've changed a lot of people, or should I say, a lot of people have changed how they've shown up in my reality and my experience. And although I think when you want to change something about the way someone's showing up in your experience, it's important to, you know, clearly state what it is and manifest it and ask for it. But something that I have found is kind of the key ingredient to this is actually just completely accepting people as they are, even though you might want them to be different. I've had multiple experiences in my life where as soon as I've completely and utterly loved and accepted that person for who they are, they've completely shifted and kind of been that person that I was wanting them to be, in both work environment, in romantic environment, and it's really difficult, but it has been for me that final, the kind of final part. And I mean, you're really just letting it go and you're allowing and you're just coming into that place of everything's okay as it is. This would be nice, but it's all okay as it is. I remember doing this by accident years and years ago when I was working for somebody and they were an absolute nightmare with communication. Like none of us could ever hit, like we would just never be able to get in touch with them when we wanted to. We're like, we want to work, we want to do something. And just literally communication was so poor. And, everybody would be complaining about it that works at this place and saying, we just want to get on with stuff, like, and not hearing back. Did you hear back from this person? And everybody was getting really frustrated about it and annoyed about it. And I remember at the time I was reading this book called Soul Love, and there was an exercise about, completely accepting people as they are. And I did this exercise and I just completely accepted, and sort of just felt complete love for the person that I was working for. And literally, within an hour or something, I got a message from them. And ever since that day, they communicated with me the rest of the time I worked there, all the time, like multiple times per day. Everybody else would come to me because they'd be like, can you get through to X, Y, Z, So I became the only person that kind of had this such direct line to communicate, that other people were coming to me to get the communication. And I know that was a complete happened because I just accepted them as they were, and that was who they were. And I thought, do you know what, I've only got the option of just accepting this is who they are and just allowing it, allowing them to be that way. And that actually caused them to shift to become exactly what I preferred and wanted them to be in that situation. It's also happened to me with romantic partners. Like actually the current connection that I am in a relationship with was, when we met, he said, the worst thing about you is that you're vegan. I can remember this. And I was like, okay. Wasn't really anything that I felt particularly insulted by, but I obviously kind of wanted my person to be vegan as well because it's easier and I'm really into health, and I just, it's just something that I would like, but I've never been really, really adamantly forceful on that because I value the connection higher. And I mean, I brought this person back changed in so many ways because we connected and just had like a terrible connection. It was really toxic. It was just a lot of clearing, a lot of triggering. And in the break, it was actually good that it was quite long because I did a hell of a lot of work on myself, like a lot of manifesting, a lot of working on self-love, working on myself. And I brought this person back in an absolutely 180 kind of way. And I remember one of the funniest things was they came back as a vegan. I was like, I never asked for that, but you know, for somebody that was so adamantly that that was your worst trait, and then he's trying to become one. But this connection, I absolutely, completely just accepted and loved as they were. There's so many like deal breaking, in my old perception, deal breaking traits, you know, about it. And I really had to do a lot of just accepting and loving them as they were. And I had noticed that that has brought them back in a very changed person and a lot more in alignment with actually what I wanted. So my real key point, I think the visual went really, really weird then, but I don't want to re-record this. Yeah, so the key takeout is just that really, really, if you want to change something about somebody or they're annoying you, aside from trying to manifest actively a change, just absolutely loving and accepting them for who they are kind of allows that change. I mean, on an energetic level, it does. But even as a person, like no one wants to feel like they're being forced to change. Sorry, I think the picture went a bit weird then. If it didn't, I do apologise, but it did on my end. So yeah, the key takeout really is that, yeah, you can manifest and want change in the way people are showing up in your experience, but until you really like accept what is and you love somebody for who they are as present, that is what springboards about like the change for them to become more in alignment with what you want them to be. And I mean, you know, we're all connected, and if you've connected to somebody and you feel that they really want you to change and somebody's trying to force you to change, you're always resistant. Like, I mean, you can see this in the 3D. Obviously, this is all energetic, but you can see in the 3D how this filters down. And when you really, really try to force somebody to change, it just never works because they're instantly like, oh, you know, no, no, no. And it's sort of the same on the energy level, that when you're really trying to force somebody to change and you need them to be this certain way for you to love them, and you want them to be this certain way for you to accept them, then you're not really accepting them for who they are. And it's like this really jarring kind of energy of like resistance. And it's always really about resistance versus flow. Whereas when you're, oh, it would be really nice if they were like this, but, you know, I completely love and accept them as they are, and I love all these traits about them because that makes them who they are, then it kind of just allows things to flow. And from my experience, it generally changes in the direction that you want it to anyway. But it's yeah, just not having this like jarring resistance of like forcing things to happen. It just isn't how manifesting works productively. So let me know if you've had any experiences where this has happened for you as well, where you've kind of given up and you've accepted somebody as they are and you've loved them unconditionally and they've gone about a massive change. I mean, it's partly to do with depth and intimacy, and not even just in a romantic connection, but when you feel completely accepted and loved for who you are, it's an inspiring thing to make a change in your life, rather than somebody kind of trying to force you to change. And it's really just the same way that it works on the energy level, that people just feel much more inspired to change and to become that when they're accepted, and they know they're accepted anyway, than you're like, well, I'll only have you if you do this. Like, that's why ultimatums just never really work. Unless you're purely doing it from a basis of, I love myself and, you know, this is what I want in my life. But if it's trying to change somebody else to fit into your concept, it just never works. But if you allow them to be who they are and you desire them to be different, then they will change, and they will change to become that person. So yeah, let me know your feedback on how you've experienced this in your connections and your life and your work, and yeah, and I hope to hear from you soon.